just in time. I was just about to break into this. Before I do that, I have to tell you a story. So, back in like 2000, I'm trying to remember the first one, 19, probably, definitely pre-COVID and before I moved to Texas. So it had to be 2019. I ordered a Kickstarter that I was supposed to have 210 minis, and it took forever. It got delayed by years. Trying to remember. It doesn't matter. There were so many things that delayed it. COVID happened, all this stuff. Then we had prepaid for shipping, and then of course, by the time they finally got this Kickstarter out, shipping had skyrocketed because of COVID. So what happened was they sent it. It literally got to like the West Coast and then just sat there because we didn't pay enough for shipping. So they were holding it hostage, the people who did the shipping. And the company literally just gave up on it and walked away from it. So then we had to deal with the shipping company instead of the Kickstarter company, who did it, Blacklist Miniatures. So that's what this was. This and this behemoth box, 200 minis right here, 210. So I did deal with the shipping company, had to pay extra, more than just the shipping. You know, they took advantage of that situation, and we got it. But we didn't get it until, I want to say, about a year and a half ago. So it would be like halfway through 2023. So that was like 3.5 years of waiting, right? So meanwhile, during that time, well before we knew that we were going to be waiting that long, they had 2 more Kickstarters. One was horror minis, which I didn't go for. And the other, this was series 1. The other one was series 2 of fantasy minis. And it came out to like 195 minis for like, I don't know, not even 50 cents a mini, probably closer to like 25 cents a mini. Same with this, like to get 210 minis for like $60 is insane. So then fast forward to the next one, we ordered that one. Then we found out like all the horrors that was happening with this. So the whole time this was happening, everybody was like, we're not even getting the second Kickstarter. So the second Kickstarter was probably by 2020, right? Yeah, that's crazy. Maybe 2021, but I want to say it's 2020. 195 minis. And of course, the whole time that the first thing is going on, we're like, we're not getting this. Fast forward to another company buying out that company's Kickstarter because it had already kind of started in manufacturing a little bit. I get this in the mail the other day. This is 195 minis. So I'm really curious to see how they packed it compared to these 2 boxes, right? There's only like 15 less minis. So let's get into this. This is one take. All right. Let's point this down here. All right. So, maybe I'll leave it like that for now. Okay. So this company bought this. Of course, wouldn't say they took advantage of it, but we did get charged a little more to get it. Oh, okay. That's how they did it. I'll have to show you. I'll show you the other way. The other one was packed compared to this. All right. Well, let's break into it. I'm not going to go through every single piece because there's entirely too many. But sweet little human warrior there. I have it off to the side because I can't see on my own camera. There we go. That is a monk. Pretty, like if I printed these out myself, they would probably be equivalent to this, maybe slightly more detailed depending on settings, but couple more heroes here. Another monk, looks like a orc. The gnome. See, is there anything at the bottom? Yep, just Wildspire. That face is pretty rough. So I have this one would definitely have a lot more detail if it was printed with my 3D printer. But still, to get this many, let's see. This is a good one. Another gnome. So the first set was a little more male dominated, so the second set they sent out more females. And I'm just trying to look at these. There's a ton of bags just like this, so let's try to see what the theme is. Probably isn't a theme. It's just all random. Jeez. Here's some of the bigger ones. So a lot of these I would use for like NPCs or bad guys. For character minis, I'd probably get ones that are a little more specific to how I'd want them to be. So I'd find like a STL and then print that. But these are great for... What I liked about this one was they did color code a bunch, like for, so I can find it, they'll have like, oh, here's 5 bandits, right? And they were just color coded, so you could say I'm targeting the yellow one or the pink one or the purple one, you know, if you haven't painted these. So that's why some of these are just gray. I think the gray ones are like the more the hero ones, or there's just one of them, and then the bigger, you know, baddie villains, and then the color-coded ones are like the ones that they have multiple of. You see the box here, it's like, where'd the lid go? So you just have like a bunch of lizard archers. Skull archers, some sort of orc, another lizard fighter, a random guard, some sea creature or swamp creature. This is a mimic, and some more like a ghoul and cultist. So the other ones are more like specific. They only have one of them. So this is how this is pretty much packaged. It was just all wedged in there. So I will say, I was looking on Discord, other people who received it before me, for how it was packaged, they only had like 3 that were like damaged, and it was just like the base came off, which is an easy fix. That's cool. Viking dude. And then it came with an encounter book. I'm not sure, just kind of set up. Okay, it gave you, if you're a DM, it gave you like stat blocks for using these against your players. So you can find your own stat blocks, you can make your own, but it's just nice to have this already. A corrupted barbarian. Just 2 more. And then this, I don't know the rhyme or reason of why they chose to protect some of the other ones more than others, but let's give this a quick check out. Should have had scissors here. Let's do this way then. So, owlbear. If you watched the movie, you saw an owlbear. If you haven't seen the movie, definitely suggest it. It's a fun watch. There's a giant, which these still seem pretty small, but in comparison, you know, if your character is next to it, you can see just how big that looks. Oops. Painting is definitely fun. I will say painting the larger pieces like this is just easier because the details are much larger. I still suck at doing eyes. Let's see if there's a pretty sweet minotaur. I was going to do this over a series, but now that I kind of opened it and saw how it was packaged, I don't know. I mean, I can still make more. Let's break out the big guy here. Here's a sweet alligator or crocodile, which I am definitely still have a life goal to wrestle an alligator before I get too old to. Let's get the big one out of here. There we go. Oh, that's pretty crazy. Look at that. It's definitely like a god. Little booty. And last one, I'll show you this sweet griffin. Definitely worth the wait. Did not think, for a while, we did not think we were going to get them. And I just want to show you the comparison for packaging. Just lets me know maybe these guys went overboard when they didn't have to. So I do appreciate it. Much different, right? So just layers of that. There was another film that went over this one. I'm not sure where it went. Same thing they would do, you know, like here's 5 of these, but they didn't give you the option of coloring them. Certain ones are a little different, like this, because it's like a tentacle. I think they gave like a ghost, like a kind of clear blue, but most of them are just gray. Where'd the bottom of that box go? I'm losing things already. And that's where I'll leave it for now.